questions about British teaching or related? Let me, I think we need to start, otherwise nobody is daring to say anything. Can you give the let me?
Geshe talked about the three lineages. Do they and the three lineages are held by, he didn't say that last time, but it seems the text indicates by Asanga, Nagarjuna, and Shantideva.
Okay, let me check over there.
This is the premise of my question. Actually, is about is it the case that at which point the two methods for developing bodhicitta become established and classified as such? Obviously, they're not classified as these two by Asanga, nor Nagarjuna, nor Shantideva. There's nothing in their teachings that indicates these two. Is it Sri Lanka that, for the first time, classifies them as these two methods?
So when you say two methods, you meant the 6 cause and 1 result and equalizer, right? When was that established, and was it Sri Lanka who kind of? Quran can issue did it again. That and Dhargye Kalsokurata, Diravagan, give us some data through again. That Gaden Juju and then Latin Juju, that's some of the again. Even this soon the give us some the again the Diravagan, Goboru again. About Thomas, and then Geshe Shivala, the Panato, they get the end of the rest of us, again. Give it again.
Data Yonda Roshanada Geshe Phuntsok Gyeltsen, and somewhat I did Jamaican, she done Nisha or that the Diga at the Diana, you got the love you said, Jamaican and Commander, then my Shas at Love J2 you see, Love J2 you use it. There, because you got that choices and Jones to tell the Kenya, you got a lot of and the Sabbath in Norma. You love James at the
Paying again, that the Gumuru, the France will give us some jar, Tasa later, the delegate again.
You were like she was in. Then what you were going to get 7 ballot and you were going to get your rest. The boy was a car, that's 7 ballot, you were some guy, you are in the 7 ballot, the child not the insurance.
Then the deal on that the Chanju Sem Melani or again. You never had to the Tasanya message or again. Dini, that could do or so again. But you when you cut the chevers or again. That you did the Lama Dico to the Lamani, or that could be made to the again. Or some others. The native to the Yata Tasanya did again. Never says or again. Maybe what they need for the David Riches and the Lama Slim, you can do that when you have the jail says or again. The legacy or something.
He visited Jedosagi, the dog, Chatosugi, and the Dashan Kazan. You remember this Jamu, and the Vedomundo Zeta, but Tima Divatil Dande, and the Gudemema here.
Not again, not so. Not again, she
Muto Genja, Gudemema said. That the power to me, not you shall be the one. That then Gubal can tell you what rejection on your one. That Jidu Jabe and Gobal Shavala give the Hinyam Jet Dimason. The Gobal was some rejection of the Yusara. Machine can't the young woman today, Dote Jana, Dote Siki, the years you could see, do the Shina, you got a Shina, or Tisha.
So the 3 lineages we talk about, generally we talk about what we call the Gyaltsen Chügyü extensive lineage, and that really comes from Maitreya, right, to Asanga and so forth. And then we talk about the profound lineage of the view that comes from Manjushri to Nagarjuna and so forth, right? And we didn't really so much talk about what we call extensive deep lineage. But this one, particularly as said, is really focused on equalizing, exchanging self for others, because this technique is more effective than the other technique, and so that's the lineage, and of course that lineage has come from Nagarjuna again, So your question to response, the two meditational techniques for developing bodhicitta, when it was established. In the case of 6 causes and 1 result, in Tibetan, and so that is really actually in the ornament for clear realizations of the ornament for clear realization, Maitreya's, right? That's what it comes to establishing that, So that was passed from Maitreya to Asanga and so on, that tradition. And in the case of equalizing, exchanging self for others, it is already Nagarjuna's, as we said, the precious garland established that. So it went from Nagarjuna, like the Manjushri Nagarjuna and onward, that lineage. And then it was during the time of Silimba, the master from Golden Island, so those got kind of combined or integrated together. So that's what it happened. Of course, if you look in the ornament of Mahayana Sutras, you will find equalizing self for others. But generally, we said that goes back to Nagarjuna's precious garland.
And what about the third lineage, the profound lineage? So if the extensive deeds lineage is for Nagarjuna's, and extensive lineage is a Sanghas, then what about Shantideva? According to our
custom. Sorry. The equalizing, exchanging for self that comes from Nagarjuna onward, and then it comes to Shantideva. Yeah, Shantideva was part of that period actually. So the profound lineage was from Nagarjuna to onwards, right? So it looks like Nagarjuna, we got 2 lineages, the profound and extensive deep lineage. Yes. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Could Geshe please give us an example from something like a real life example of how to... Is it working?
Yeah.
Okay, how to practice this verse of the may their evil or negativities bear fruit for me, and may all my virtue bear fruit for others. Could he give us a real life example of how to do that? Thank you.
Rangi Katsorda, Kawashian, Latamo, the Shingi, Rang, Lenses, Rogan. The patient wanted to make Slovakia, the Mizina Roa. The day the patient was making the Shannon to the Spirit Slovakia. Rangi Kawashian, Latamo, the Shingi, to Meram, so Rogan. The Pedamas on one Sunday, so La Ling Peso Rogan. Jipana, and Sunday. Well, La Ling in a Lagan Peso Rogan, La Ling in the chair or the slides.
거기에 되게 고발로 쪽에 달라 되게 세계대 시행이 되면 가서 수련해야 돼 봐. 나게 말 되면 그 마도나 돼 봐. 근데 동네
동네 냠내 배치야 저거들.
그래서
다 배치를 자서 시 거의 내주를 자서.
거의 내주를 지금 다 모두 다 칼라서 뭐 또 되네. 아니 현다 누가 소득이 뭐 무슨 하고 싶어도 소득이 내가 걔는 막 저거 돼야지 자꾸 하고 싶어도 또 뭐는 제일 숨어서 말아
다 동네 나한테 그러게 다 가서게 완전 미디칸을 오게 다 참배권을 또뭐다 인지권을 내면 동네 냠내 되려고 하는 거로게
어디래 다 그래 인지권을 내면 참배권 동아래와
So those 2 lines from Arya Nagarjuna's precious garland, are very profound and instrumental. And as a matter of fact, we can think of Tonglen practice, again, for lack of a better word in English, the practice of giving and taking, isn't it? So where usually when we see problems, difficulties, and suffering, right, out of compassion, we develop compassion and motivation, and then we wish, how nice if these beings are free of suffering, and may I be able to take their suffering, right, to me, so that can be free. And out of love, right, we said, everybody's seeking happiness and best of everything. So out of love, we said, whatever happiness I have and virtues, I dedicate it for them so that they can be happy just like they want it, right? So that That is the actual practice. We call it dominant practice. So which we can train our mind in any difficulties we encounter. We see problems with people. This is how. If we dare to, we can think about, may I be able to take their difficulty upon myself so that they will be free, and may I be able to dedicate my goodness to them so that they can be happy. So that's what the practice is. Yeah. Any other questions here? Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. It's on, I think. Yeah.
So, Geshe Phuntsok,
yes.
yeah, when he was requesting for Shartse, the teachings on speech equalizing, exchanging self for others, he produced a copy of 8 verses, and he said that in our text he says, yet I also find that there seem to be a few occasions when it's not so appropriate to practice.
Are you on page what?
Page 12.
Okay, page 12.
So he's saying that there are occasions when it's not appropriate to practice that, the 8 verses of mind transformation. Especially giving victory to others, accepting defeat.
Just help me find the exact word there. Page 12, where is it exactly?
Page 12, the second paragraph, or third actually.
Third, okay.
Gyeltsen then produced the 8 verses for training the mind by aligned with Dhargye and said, and towards the end he says, I also find that there seem to be a few occasions when it's not so appropriate to practice.
I see what the Gyeltsen himself, right?
Yeah, Gyeltsen was saying that to Shartse.
So your question is...
What are these occasions? When is it not appropriate to practice that? He's saying about giving victory.
체가와 꾸랑기 공주를 지르와 쉬도 하게 엔디문에 타네 양다발에 말에 니 사물이야 디테스 팽기도 이네 양 가서 내다 관계 와를 하게 이 냠네 지레지 인사 말을 지라도 하게 디 제다 디 계시 가자다 디데 냠네들 하게 내가 강시 와라 디 냠네 지는 지금 해야 할래서 내가 가래 와 냠네 지금 पेजे शुरू देखिए जैम मतलब कि इंजन आगे दिलाव तेरे पे किसी पेजे छिप दिलाव भी हमारे बता बता
दे गंगा ला माजे तो माजे
मारे मारे चेबा वो यार शुरू में बात हुआ क्या let me see even I couldn't find it
paragraph on page 12.
Yeah, it's on page 12.
The paragraph that starts with Chekova, then produced the...
Okay, thank you. I was wondering whether you recalled it. I found that it often helps my useless self just a little when all my thoughts run wild and in terms of hardship, when I'm unable and so on. Yet I also find that there seems to be few occasions when it's not allowed. Ya should do one in it. Did I mind the coming the thing to shoot the wagon? Check out. Sharabala, the secret, any young double marina, sometimes the people do so again. In a net passage water again, and the Yamets and Jiggy sort of do so again. Shoes are again. You didn't look in picture and look in. The net passage will Jiggy do like the net passage.
But there, that Dhargye said she do someone the music was a shower. I didn't
the Koran Institute Channel again. Neta Kashi was last again. In Yamets and Jiggy do so or a Punzuro. That pretty what did it. Neta Kashi the card vessel and Yamets and Jiggy and Neta again. The Europe against a vision of Europe.
Things talk about those as well, did it? Yeah, that kind of talk about the well, Majuba. No, you Majo those who are.
And Yamets and Jiggy do again.
And you said, the yet told the Galans and those in the 30s of the Jovers and that you was on the rest of the daughter what they do. In a bad touching the answer, they can't go about the Jogas so they are doing the and well, some of them do.
I'll never see. I think the way Geshe said it, that's why I said maybe this. I wish he'd look at his stain, but looks like he didn't remember it. So, the way it is presented here is that yet I also find that there seems to be a few occasions when it is not appropriate practice. That was said. Right? So you said what a few occasions. In the Tibetan, the way Geshe said, not that he said, when I'm sometimes down, I find it inspiring, but it seems like it's, how should I say, it's a bit inconceivable, difficult to take, you know, like it says, give everything goodness to others. He said, yeah, it makes sense, you have them others, you know, take a little, but to give all the victory to others, and take all the defeat, that's, I find it a little hard. That's what it meant, not like on a few occasions I find it, yeah. So thank you again. Your first question helps us to find the discrepancies in the translations and things like that, yeah. Even Adisha told Great Domdama, he said, I found you are the only person I could really talk about equalizing the existence of others. Otherwise, I couldn't find anybody else. So the things that is too much for the rest of the people, like, what? Give all the victory and gain to others and take their defeat and loss, all the craps upon yourself? What? It's really too much, you know, that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, yeah, modern translation, take all the craps to yourself, give all the goodies to them, like really, you know. Yeah. So that's the tough one. Any other questions we have? Okay,
Speaking of
discrepancy,
there is on page 9,
yes.
at the beginning of the teaching, again, this long paragraph at the very end, he says that the last sentence, this is the point of complete cessation of every disturbing emotion, which even the worthy saints, the arhats among the hearers and solitary realizers, and even the great bodhisattvas, bodhisattvas on the pure stages have not completely eliminated.
Yeah.
He's according in our test, it says that the hearers have not eliminated every disturbing emotion. Is this correct?
Say it again.
Well, according to that statement,
yes.
The hearers and the arhats and the bodhisattvas on the pure stages have not eliminated or achieved the complete cessation of every disturbing emotion.
Oh, okay, okay. This is the point of complete cessation of every disturbing emotions, which even the word.
So he's talking about the state of the Buddhahood.
Yeah. Every disturbing. Okay, yeah. I understood. So the question is, you mean like have the solitary realizers, arhats and hearers, arhats, and even the bodhisattva graces, they have not ceased all the disturbing emotions.
Yes,
right?
according to this.
According to this, yeah. Purana initiative did it. That again, the Karishubra, Nama, the Jesu Sundu Kandara, Wagain. Keep the use of that, and the Nera Tachumata, Tasa and the Sanjus somebody get the Rawagain, and in the Karishubra, the Chivatamje Rawagain, then it's found to Yoma says, or what? In Tamara Westward. That's what I'm just talking about. She did my musician.
She did my own thing. That better 치다 두세 좀 요구세도 다 먼저 생겨나가 그 내용 있잖아 다 다시부터 저는 성진 좀 치고서야지 내용이 있잖아 뭐 제가 시야도 제가 야야 되게 제네 성진의 다시부터 보고 어떻게 다 지부고 성진도 치야로 뭐 시다데 좀 우리 성진 이런 저좀 다 살리는 성진 가자 So we are going to have a culture music. And we are going to sit up the museum. Sit up the museum with the Sanjay.
Yeah, here, I mean, this is the point of complete cessation of every disturbing emotions. The way it's explained, as we said earlier, is, you know, even the arhats of Shervakas and Pratika Buddhas, even the bodhisattvas on pure ground, we said 8 ground, they have not conquered the Mara of death, right? That's what it is. Because, you know, yeah, they don't die like us under the influence of afflicted emotions, but still they have to die, right? And it's only Buddha who has destroyed all the Maras, including the Mara of death. That's why Buddha has achieved the state of immortality. So that's what it means.
That's the meaning of the Tibetan.
Yeah, that's meaning of the Tibetan. Yeah, disturbing emotions, I know. I think that's the actual explanation, but I think it could also refer to that that they have not yet abandoned or eliminated the obscuration to omniscience. Right, that's right. So he said, in general, we would say these arhats of the Shervakas, Pratika Buddhas, and even Bodhisattvas on this pure grounds, they are free of all the afflictive emotions, right? That's the confusing part. But they still have the obscuration to omniscience, right? But the particular meaning of this is they have not conquered the Mara of death, only Buddha has, right? So those are the two interpretations. Yes. Last, yes, yeah, go ahead. And she has a very good question. I want to be clear with that. I think I understood the question, but what Geshe said, I just want to pursue it a little, push it back further. Then again, this is the second one again. Tony Madonna changes sent you my light is get the second one again.
Tony Madonna changes you my
one, but the other given a good man, doing the one, the Tony the Royal China, the Gata, changes in China, Tony the Royal. Tony Madonna, the Giro, Chandro. That against my Chigana, you then. 당신 양질이 되는 전주심으로 장물라 돈이 마다는 전주심 기능을 좀 모르게.
근데 아니 뭐 이제 지도 어머니에서 이제 조조 걸어 해도 되는 그것이 이제 되지. 거기도 어디 료지. 그래요 쉬고 봐. 신의 교회가 된다는데 당신 님들고 신의 교회가 싫어. 다디 신의 터도 아니 신의 활동 돈이도 보다도 그러니 어떤
그러면 이게 돈이 줄동을 치고.
저는 뭐는 해도 되죠.
그러니까 근데 그 돈이 고아 차트에 딱 이제 먹는 신고고 이제 어디는 이로.
그 고아도 사고, 그러나
돈이 또 보고 있지만.
제가 어머노는 해야 돼. 여기 혈압 해야 지워도는 저기 성교사 말이. 손님 시주면 사고. 사고. 아니면 다만 돈이 또 보고 있만 또 보고 가지고 손을 쉬어보려나 손을 쉬어서 뭐서 살면 지켜야 말해.
So the question she asked was, would it be possible to practice equalizing, exchanging self for others without, touching the emptiness or without realizing emptiness? And Geshe's explanation is kind of a little difficult because this particular technique is meant for those with sharp faculties, right? And so it seems like at least those should have the mental ability to be able to process what emptiness is. But then technically speaking, maybe we said you don't have to have a realization emptiness, right, to practice equalizing and exchanging self for others. But you have to have a sharp faculty. But the sharp faculty shouldn't be always explained only in terms of intelligence or wisdom. But this also could have that you have a strong backing of merit. If you are lacking merit, that is again problem. So basically, if you have a lot of merit, and then you could practice it, without necessarily touching or realizing emptiness. Because when you look in the Shantideva's Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life presentation, right, he talks about bodhicitta development, equalizing itself for others, right, before emptiness. The emptiness comes in the chapter 9, right, this from gone beyond, So in terms of that presentation, it looks like you could practice it, without necessarily realizing emptiness.
Yeah, and then 탑다 시럽이 동안인가. 아니 탑디 나 찬주선. 근데 나생님이 탑디 다 저는 신의 시럽이
알레 탑시스 릭스 거로 알아.
또 탑디 그지당님 시럽 또 나오네요. 야, 빨리 야구 열라나 아니야 시럽이 면이에요.
알레 로스. Yes. 계산서 게. 그거는 대서로 게 탑시스 릭스 거에서 게 탑지고 지치네 탑을 조정 시럽 기기를 쓰고래 양 시럽을 조정 탑지 안 돼서.
아니 근데 다 거기에 다 되래.
안 되지.
거기 다 지조지 편집조지 로라. 로로지 다도 지금 생각해서做是다다 되지로라. 정식스스로라. 그봐. 정식 파다부터 인식으로. 리문이와 인식으로. 또 이거 해야 돼 맞아 그래서 Miranda Carrera Junto Rio, Shartse Gyeltsen Saji Woman Naji Luris. Jitadi me, Toyamato, then doesn't my own day. Shena Nala Zois and Sinji Tibetan Buddhism this. Tibetan Buddhism was at the Shartse himself.
No. So, against the Tatandi, so the shoot gives the Chanjus Casatadi. Taxan Yanja when the Chanjus and Yamala shoot give the Valia, Dig Gains and Antonio to be share up, shoot here. That's what wouldn't give you out. That's what the choices
over here, Shartse is between the hair of Gelmura. Gelmura to here upon the nature channel.
I think what so your question was, so when we focus on equalizing and exchanging self for others, are we simply focused on the method side practice, right? Because we talk about method and wisdom, need to go together. So is the assumption here that if we practice equalizing and exchanging self for others, this will somehow lead us to, cultivate the wisdom side as well. So the Geshe's explanation is that, of course, as in a certain point, we have to integrate the method and wisdom, otherwise there's no way for the full development. But in the Bodhisattva tradition, Mahayana tradition, the emphasis is on developing bodhicitta. It doesn't mean we don't need the wisdom, because bodhicitta is what we call kind of definitive lineage. Definitive in the sense it's like a father-like, right? The father is, decides the so to speak, the lineage of the family, right? The tradition. Whereas the mother, wisdom-like mother, is a very generic, right? The mother can, in other words, go with this father and one child, and that father is another child, and because the mothers does not define what's the proper word? I don't want to say DNA, but in English that's a tough one, right? The lineage. The lineage goes from father to son, isn't it? Right, in any tradition, it's not like mother to the son, mother to the daughter. So mother, wisdom, gone beyond, with that mother life, you can achieve nirvana, you can achieve enlightenment, right? It goes with everything, isn't it? But the bodhicitta, it only takes you to enlightened state. It's not going to take you to nirvana. It's a very definitive lineage. Okay? And so therefore, in the Mahayana tradition, bodhicitta is the heart and the soul. No, I shouldn't use the word soul, I don't like it, but it's the heart and the core, central pillar of which defines your final destination. Okay? So that's what it is. Okay, one more question, and then I think we need to stop. It's 12:30.
Thank you, Geshe, for your teaching. Geshe just mentioned about just only Buddha can achieve the state of immortality.
Yes.
But why he still perform pass to nirvana?
Okay. Lagi kendi sumber wa kalau bolehda mena fishing budi nyamlen sene sanje kobang thabar chiwa me kobang thabar la ro ge chiwa kalau chidak dui chongen di sanje masih yo ma la ro ge ni le ibana daja to masih je tu wa kalau tak pun yang le de do ro ge nanti de ko ya kalau sebena sa ge
jadi tak betul tiba siapa kena punyanya dia sudah punyanya dah yo ma la ro tiba tiba sini nanti thong nanti ini siapa dia punyanya dia ko kele ko
sanje yang dia kele ko
punyanya dia kele ko tapi tiba siapa lu jadi ini sanje yang dia kele ko
tapi yang dia
sudah ko ya dah 그 산지에나 들여 보고서 시시시 심지에 되게다 메다가 전부동으로서 시시 근데 심지에 통계는 다 제거된 거.
So I think it depends upon what perspectives you use to look at Shakyamuni Buddha's path in the parinirvana. From Theravada Buddhism point of view, they said Buddhas can die too, just like us. So Shakyamuni Buddha, when he passed into Kushinyaga parinirvana, they said Buddha really died like us, But from Mahayana perspective, it's not like he really died like us, but he simply performed, Buddha just performed the deeds like ordinary beings, being born, being educated, being grow up, being exiled, and then, get married, just perform all the activities, But Buddha himself doesn't face death. He has gone beyond. That's why it's called the state of immortality. The reason why Buddha performed from Mahayana perspective the deed of passing into parinirvana in Kushinagara is really to give us the kind of final lesson of impermanence, isn't it? Because we have so much grasping at the permanence of life. We kind of feel like we're eternal and never going to die. So Buddha wanted to show like, there is end to your life. So just simply to remind us and to teach about impermanence, so Buddha performed that deed. But Buddha didn't have to die, according to Mahayana. Yeah. We'll stop there. So thank you very much for today.